I sat in the second row, hands folded, spine straight. Breathing like it mattered. The courtroom smelled like polish and old paper. My sister stood at the defense table, jaw tight, mascara, untouched by tears. When the judge leaned forward and looked past her, looked at me, his voice didn't carry, it didn't need to. "Wait," he whispered, "you're—" The room stopped, even my family did. I didn't answer. Not yet. I watched my sister's eyes flicker, searching faces for help that wasn't coming. I'd learned to enjoy silence. Silence was where the truth suffocated people. They used to say I was nothing, said it loudly. Said it often, said it to anyone who would listen, the unwanted child. The one who couldn't finish anything, the mistake that lingered after birthdays were counted, and inheritances discussed. They called my quiet a weakness, they confused restraint for failure, they mistook patience for permission. I remember the night they decided who I was, dinner table, steam rising from rice that nobody touched. My father's knuckles rapped once like a gavel. My mother didn't look at me. When she said it, "He's not built for success." My sister smiled into her glass. She always smiled when something broke. That was the beginning, not the betrayal, just the diagnosis. Back then I believed them. I believed love was conditional, and silence was safety. I believed that if I stayed small, the storms would pass me by. I believed my sister when she said she'd look out for me. She was older, louder, the kind of person who entered rooms like she owned them. I trusted her because I wanted to belong to someone. The betrayal didn't arrive all at once. It rarely does. It came in patterns and omissions, in the way my calls stopped being returned, when opportunities came up in the ER, some she helped edit, and then forwarded accidentally to the wrong people, in the scholarship application that vanished in the loan she co-signed and then defaulted on without telling me. I noticed the gaps before I found the proof. The proof arrived quietly, a forwarded email chain with my name misspelled at the bottom attached. Like a liability, a recorded call she didn't know I had access to. "He's harmless," she said, laughing. "He won't do anything." That laugh felt surgical, precise, like a cut meant to bleed slow. I didn't confront her. I didn't cry. I didn't plead. I closed my laptop and made tea. I learned something important that night. Pain is loud, but clarity is quiet, and quiet lasts longer. That's when the planning began. I audited my life the way professionals audit books. I listed assets, liabilities, witnesses. Habits, I studied law, finance, compliance, anything that rewarded patience and punished arrogance. I took jobs that didn't sparkle but taught me leverage. I documented everything, dates, times, screenshots, patterns of behavior. I became boring on purpose, invisible by design. Meanwhile, my sister ascended promotions panels, applause. My family paraded her success like absolution. They told everyone I'd dropped out, that I'd failed, that I'd wasted time chasing things beyond my reach. I nodded when I heard it. I thanked them for their concern. I showed up empty-handed to gatherings and left early. I let them write the story because I was busy footnoting it. The first move was legal. I didn't accuse, I complied. I answered emails with warmth and precision. I let her think I was still the harmless variable. I watched as she cut corners, signed where she shouldn't, trusted people who flattered her people like her, always mistake admiration for loyalty. The second move was financial. I separated myself completely, clean lines. No shared accounts, no favors. I made myself solvent and uninteresting when she needed help. I declined gently. I told her I wasn't in a position to assist. It wasn't a lie, I was in a better one. The third move was social. I didn't campaign. I listened, I asked questions, I remembered details. People talk when they feel safe. They confess when they feel important. I collected narratives. The way some people collect stamps, carefully, without fingerprints. By the time the investigation started, I was already there. Not as an accuser, as a resource, as a consultant, as the quiet professional who knew where the bodies weren't buried because he'd read the zoning laws. The charges didn't make headlines at first. White collar doesn't scream. It hums: misrepresentation, breach of fiduciary duty, obstruction. The words stacked neatly, like dominoes waiting for a breath. My sister denied everything. Of course she did. She'd never been wrong a day in her life. The day of the trial, my family sat together. They didn't save me a seat. I took one anyway. My sister avoided my eyes. She thought I was there to watch her fall, or beg her forgiveness. She didn't understand that I was there to finish something I'd started years ago. When the judge recognized me, it wasn't because of my name. It was because of my work, the reports I'd authored, the testimony I'd helped structure, the compliance framework the court had adopted months earlier. The system she'd tried to game now spoke my language. I stood when called. I kept my voice level. I answered exactly what was asked. No flourishes, no revenge speeches. Facts are sharper, without decoration. As each piece slid into place, I watched realization crawl across her face. Not guilt, not remorse, recognition. She finally looked at me, then really looked like she was seeing a ghost she'd created. The verdict landed without drama. That's how justice prefers it. My family didn't clap. They didn't cry. They stared at me like a stranger who had learned their secrets. The judge nodded once, almost imperceptibly, as if acknowledging a professional courtesy. Outside, the air felt lighter, not because she'd fallen, but because I was done carrying her shadow. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt aligned, like my spine finally matched my shadow. I thought of the child they didn't want, the quiet one, the one they dismissed, and I smiled just a little, not at them, at myself. I never corrected the rumors. I didn't need to. Truth has a way of arriving without invitations, and when it does, it doesn't shout. It waits. Just like I did.